Hello, good night, everyone. Before I start with the class, I would like to explain you a little bit more the way in which we're going to be working for week 11 and week 12. We're going to be working with 2 weeks at the same time since March the 29th to April the 4th, and I'm going to be explaining why. So here it is. Uh, I don't know if you guys already have the chance to check the program and you guys can see that we're not gonna have a third partial exam. Instead of having an exam, I have decided to ask you for a project. In this case, it will be about an essay, the development of an essay of 500 words. In this essay, you're gonna be selecting any topic from the ones who have been working with along this quadrimestre. You're gonna look for any topic of the ones that we already saw, and you're gonna do your essay about it. I am only asking you for 500 words and to use the APA style or the APA format. It is in order to avoid plagiarism. So let's move on the weeks. We're gonna be working with week 11 as we normally do. And for week number 12, we're gonna be uploading our essay in this week. So that's why we're gonna have 2 weeks in the period of March 29 to April the 4th. 2 weeks are going to be at the same time, but in one we're going to be working and in the other one you're going to be uploading your final project that will be the essay. So now I would like to start to talk about the topic of today's week, that is about rising and falling intonation. And I would like to start doing this by defining intonation. So the intonation is basically the rising and the falling voice in speech. It is about how we think how we say things rather than what we say. So the intonations add some attitude and some emotion to the words we are pronouncing, and a wrong intonation causes misunderstanding of some things or some phrases and questions. So it's the way in which the voice rises and falls when we are speaking. It is the rhythm or the music of the language. There are two basic patterns of intonation in English language. It is rising intonation and falling intonation. So while the rising intonation, it is the pitch of voice that rises at the end of a sentence. It is inviting us to continue talking, and it is normally used when we say yes no questions, when we ask yes no questions, and when we are using question tags that are the real questions. And it can also be used when we are expressing doubt and when we need confirmation about something we are mentioning. Let's take a look at some examples about raising intonation. For example, the yes no questions, questions that can be answered by yes or no. Do you like your teacher? Have you finished already? May I borrow your dictionary? Do you have any magazines? Do you sell stamps? As you can see, the intonation is up to there, like up in the sky, rising. And here we have the question text. Here we have another example. It is, we met already, haven't we? You like fish, don't you? You are a new student, aren't you? The view is beautiful, isn't it? As you can see, all of these tag questions are required to use rising intonation to ask them. Here in contrast, we have falling intonation. The falling intonation is basically the pitch of voice falls at the end of a sentence. The falling intonation is the most common pattern in English. It is found in statements, commands, the W questions, information questions, confirmatory question tags, and also in exclamations. And here we have some examples about statements. I'll be back in a minute. Nice to meet you. She doesn't live here anymore. Dad wants to change his car. Here is the weather forecast. Cloudy weather is expected at the end of the week. We should work together more often. I am going for a walk in the park. As you can see, this is not rising, it is falling intonation. And here we have some other examples about commands. Write your name here. Show me what you are reading. Leave it on the desk. Take a picture down. Throw that out. Put your books on the table. Take your hands out your packets. Here it is some other examples used with WH questions. What country do you come from? Who is that? Where do you work? Which of them do you prefer? When does the shop open? How many books have you bought? Which coat is yours? Whose bag is this? So the question tags are really statements that needs confirmation rather than questions. But we have to know that not all that tag questions are really questions. Some of them are just merely asking for for confirmation or inviting for agreement, in which case it's falling tone at the end, the same falling intonation. Here we have some examples about it. He thinks he's so clever, doesn't he? He's such a nuisance, isn't she? I failed the test because I didn't revise it. Did I? It doesn't seem to bother him much, does it? And here we have some other examples of falling intonations that are the exclamations. It says, how nice of you. That's just what I need. You don't say. What a beautiful voice. That's a surprise. Here it is. Just to recap. Here's a practice dialogue for rising and falling intonation. Listen carefully to the following dialogue. Raise your hand if you hear a rising intonation and clap your hands twice if you hear a falling intonation. I strongly invite you to do this exercise by yourself when you finish to watch this video. I'm gonna be uploading the video in our Moodle platform so you to consult it. So you can practice a little bit more with rising and falling intonation. That will be a lot. Thanks a lot, you guys, for being here and for your attention. And before I go, I would like to remind you that I'm gonna be available in our WhatsApp group or in my personal phone number, just in case that you want to consult anything about the way in which we're gonna be working for week 11 and week 12. Thanks a lot, everyone. Hope you can have the chance to watch the video and hope you have a very good weekend. Thanks a lot.